Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Chat with Amita, Sri Lanka's first LinkedIn live talk show, and also Sri Lanka's longest running LinkedIn and Facebook live talk show. When I look back, sometimes I myself is surprised, and then I also realize the golden rule in social media: you got to be consistent. And then I have been consistent for more than 1 year. Today is the episode number 64. So virtually I have run it for more than 1 year. And then I would like to welcome all of you who are joining with me today on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. You are welcome to share this show with your friends, colleagues, as well as comment, react, or whatever you want to do while we are here. When I say we, I'll let you know who is our guest today. You know that I always bring a guest. So let's talk a little bit about myself. My name is Amita Gamage. I'm an executive coach. I love coaching CEOs. I have a fairly good amount of clients from Sri Lanka and from other countries who are C-level executives, where they can't go and talk about their problems with their or challenges with their spouse or with their director board. So you need someone to rub shoulders, uh, to help them improve, to go to the next level. And I do that. And then I also work as a uh, personal branding strategist. Again, I help uh, professionals, business owners to move their personal brand to the next level. Sometimes clients do come and tell me, "Hey, Amita, I want to change my industry after working in this industry for last 25 years. I realize that I'm known only in this industry. What do I do?" So I help them. Hey, look, no worries. It's the night is young. Let's work on your personal brand and take it to the next level. And then I also work as a B2B sales consultant. I help B2B organizations achieve their sales goals by way of working with their teams. Uh, Apart from that, I advocate digital transformation, working with organizations to help them move their businesses to the next level by way of automating their processes, workflows. So there's quite a lot that I do. Apart from that, I run this weekly LinkedIn live talk show, and then we have also scheduled to run a Facebook live talk show to help small and medium organizations uh, in Sinhala language. So that will be starting on the 5th of February. You will be notified on over here. So we were talking about entrepreneurship previous week, or 2 weeks back rather. And then now today, I thought I would talk about entrepreneurship again because there's a hype. People are talking about becoming entrepreneurs, and then people advocate, hey, why don't you just don't go to the corporate world, come and become an entrepreneur. It's so easy, it's fantastic life here. Other side is always greener, so let's become an entrepreneur. So I thought maybe I should talk to someone who has gone through the mill once again, a different industry. And then I actually asked him whether he would like to, he's extremely busy, but then he said, yeah, Amita, why not? So, and I have my guest here. Let's welcome Malit Jayasinghe to the show. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Amita, and thank you very much for having me. Hi, everybody. Good evening to
Yes,
you all.
yes. And then I saw something remarkable. I saw that Malit has shared I mean, we generally create a little e-flyer saying who is coming to the show. And then I saw more than 400 people have liked, reacted to the flyer which he has shared on his Facebook, and more than 100 comments. Malit, you seems to be a very famous personality.
Well, not as famous as you, Amita. You are the best.
Interesting. I mean, one thing is, I think it's your personality. Like, you are a very likable person, you are a very cheerful person and a helpful person, obviously, then, because I have known you for some time now. So I generally dig into the past of the guest who comes here. Right. So I would like to know something about before we get into the topic. The topic is about, is entrepreneurship for everyone? Before we get into those nitty-gritties, I would like to talk a little bit about yourself. Your childhood. What were you doing when you were a kid and all that? How was your childhood back then?
Well, Amita, it was really good. I am actually youngest in the family. I have a brother and a sister, and
Hmm.
I schooled at Ananda College from grade 1 to grade 13. And I was quite okay with studies, but not that okay with other extracurricular work. I actually tried many other things, and I did not get any chance to represent my school with against other schools. I remember myself starting off with tennis when I was in grade 5 and did not get a chance, then switched to karate, even though I was not good at that. And then I could not continue with that either. Then I started playing cricket. It was a disaster, and then I thought maybe I should try out rugby. And there
Okay.
I played for under 15 and under 17 as like a for a very small period of time, and then I could not continue with that because I always wanted to be on the forefront, but I actually did not get a chance. But the good thing about all those activities is basically I knew the areas that I was good at and the areas that I was never good at. So that was all good.
Yeah, so it's an important thing sometimes, try and fail and realize what you are good at and what you are not good at. Yeah. So when you look back as an adult, as a matured person, then now you realize, oh my God, I have been trying, and then uh, you have already I mean, then you are also not scared to try new things.
Correct,
You know
Amita.
the
Yes.
taste of trying something new. Yeah. Sometimes parents also do not allow their kids to try new things, thinking that the kid will fail and he or she would get disappointed. Sometimes parents are more scared than the children. So
Correct.
how was the response from your parents when you were trying to do the karate and the rugby and the cricket? What was the response, feedback from
Actually,
them?
my parents were very supportive, and they did not actually push me into any particular area. Rather, they actually let me do what I wanted. And even though I failed quite miserably, I would say, with sports, then I thought maybe I should try out with other extracurricular activities like getting involved in different societies and the clubs and whatnot. And I was quite successful with that. And there I felt that even though I was very good at certain things, probably I was fairly okay with working with people and getting the job done. So that is probably one good thing that I learned during the school days.
Okay.
It was fun, and I was sort of involved with friends to a great deal. Still, we work together as all boys in the same batch, and it's been
I know.
probably
I mean, I
16.
I have seen some of the social work that you do as your group, Old Anandi and that particular batch, very
Yes.
prominent. Yes, yes, great.
Yes, I was fortunate enough to be the founder president of that organization as well.
Okay, brilliant. So then you got into the university. You want to talk about your higher studies a little bit?
Sure, Avita. Well, I did mathematics for my A levels just because of the fact that my brother did mathematics for A levels, and he actually got selected to the engineering faculty to fellow engineering at University of Moratuwa. And I also thought maybe I should also try out engineering. I actually did not have a clear idea as to what I should be doing. Just because of the fact that he did A levels in mathematics stream, I also started doing mathematics, and there I was quite okay with physics and combined maths. Then
Ah,
I was terrible with chemistry. I remember myself switching tuition classes probably more than 10 tuition classes for chemistry alone. I would not continue with one thing and I would switch one from one to the other. But I was fortunate enough to get through my A levels, and I got selected to follow my physical sciences degree at University of California. And there at the university, I learned a lot with regard to working with people, working in different activities, and being part of collective efforts. So that was really good. At university, I followed physical sciences. My subjects were pure mathematics and statistics. Actually, all the students were supposed to follow three subjects, but I actually followed only two subjects out of 400 students. It was called the miscellaneous path because there was no proper path. It was called the miscellaneous path. And when you do the miscellaneous path, you can actually skip a particular subject that might have practicals. So what I did was I kept statistics as my practical subject, and then followed pure mathematics. That way I could skip physics or chemistry. So instead of that, I had to cover credits, and I actually went to different faculties like humanities, management, and social sciences, just to take some course in it, just to cover my required number of credits. So I was like running here and there, collecting credits, and there was only one other guy who actually followed that path called miscellaneous path.
Brilliant. So
And
you also tell the truth.
it was the truth, actually. While I entered the university, I was, if I remember correct, I was among the few students who got probably the highest thesis scores. But when I like left the university, I barely managed to cover my credits and like get to the subjects just to make sure I got the degree. But having said that, I quite did not like the subjects that I did there. Nothing wrong with the university, nothing wrong with the lecturers, nothing wrong with the setup. Rather, I had probably realized by that time the stream that I was in was not the stream that I was capable with and I was interested in. So while during the university, I thought I should get involved as much as possible in the activities where people would gather and do activities together, some things with regard to management. And we organize many activities like the career fair at the university. And then I was part of clubs like there was a club called Gabber Club, which is part of Toastmasters. I was a part there. And then again, other societies like ISEC and other different societies. So I was a part of more than the university academic work. I was involved with doing such activities. I was going to the university all 5 days, but not to the lectures, to the activities that I was supposed to
I
do
I can
with the
see
outside world.
I can see that the entrepreneur in you has been probably pushing you to, do various other things other than studying.
Probably the case. I wanted to try out many different things, and I felt that I was caged. I was not challenged enough when I actually followed a single particular area. So that's what I
Okay.
did during the university days.
So interesting. So after the university, I believe you got into the corporate world.
I did. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So can we learn a little bit about that experience for how many years, maybe?
Sure, Amit. I will tell you that as well. As I told you earlier, like I was part of the organizing committee of our university career fair, and there we were working overnight and even during the day of the event. I was in rubber slippers. I still can remember, without a CV, with a like a rack shirt, and I was still arranging the what do you call the
All
stalls for the corporate
stalls.
people to come and interview people. And there was one gentleman who saw us working there, and he actually uh, interviewed us at that location itself after having interviewed all the students who actually came to the university. And then he said he was from one of John Keel's companies. They went by the name JK Marketing. Now they have the brand name by the name Keels. And he asked me whether I was interested in joining as a management trainee there. And I said yes, because it was good to have a job end of the day, even without having a CV, just by seeing his stall, and just by walking in. And he has seen that
So
we
he
have.
would have been observing how hard you guys are working to make the lives of the other people a better one. Yeah.
Probably the case, yes. And
Yeah.
I did not stay at JK Marketing for a long time. During the management trainee program itself, I actually got another opportunity to work at one of defense ministry companies. It went by the name Lanka Logistics and Transport Limited. And there I worked for another 3 years. It was part of many development projects related to city of Colombo, including the defense headquarters project. And there I actually learned a lot while being with them, attending meeting, arranging things, planning out different activities, and trying to see whether we can map the timelines. And part of them actually was involved with bringing in requirements for the armed forces. I actually got some bits and pieces of experience working with those activities as well. So
Okay.
that's how I got into the corporate sector. But I always wanted to see something new. I felt that I was not challenged enough. I actually wanted to do different things all together, all at once. And I thought probably I should go ahead with my own thing. I remember once I went to an interview right after my university. And during the interview with their CEO, he asked me what I would like to, where I would
Become.
like to see myself within the next 5 years' time. And I told him that I actually want to become the CEO of that company. And he's just smiled. And then I actually did not get selected. It was like a small pressure that he was interviewing me for. But luckily enough, I met that gentleman probably 7, 8 years after that particular interview. He still remembered me. He spoke to me and he told me that the reason why he did not selected me was the fact that he had felt that I was actually over ambitious for that particular position. So probably he might have thought it was best that he let him
You don't
let,
recruit.
yes.
So, when did you realize that there is an entrepreneur inside you? When did you realize, okay, I would like to see a triggering point, a thought process at one particular day, or what? Was it the case, or was it a gradual process, or was it a sudden realization? You wake up in the morning and decide, from today morning 6 o'clock, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. How did it happen?
Okay, I actually do not know what is the exact point where I actually started off in my avenue with regard to entrepreneurship. But then again, I can tell that even during school days, I actually wanted to do something new, get involved in developing something. And felt that I might work in the corporate sector, building companies, something like that. That is an idea that I had. I still remember at school. There were some prominent gentlemen who were coming to school premises, and they were addressing us during the morning assembly in special cases. So I
Okay.
actually thought probably I also should become one such person one day. I still haven't been able to get the chance to speak at my
At the
school. I have
school.
spoken, I have given many speeches at different universities, but still not at school. Probably the day I got that chance, I might become really happy. So gradually, with that knowledge, even during the university days, I felt that even though I was not very good at studies, I was good at one thing. That was probably organizing something called kuppies. Kuppies are the ones where we actually organize just before the exam, just to cram the entire semester all in one go. So
Mm.
I was the person who was actually speaking to people, the studious ones, bright people in our batch, and I was arranging locations, and then I was communicating to the other people that maybe we should go ahead with this kuppy. So I felt okay, my area was probably not confined to a single area. Rather, I had the ability to work with people. And then I had several friends. We started off with different things. All of them were failures, I would say. We thought we should start off with something called. We actually came up with a company, and the name of the company was Dioro Madeira Exports. It was not in English; it was in Spanish, and the word gave the meaning golden wood. So what we wanted was to export outdoor furniture to other countries. So we went around the country in search of different suppliers. We got the suppliers, and then we actually created, if I remember correct, an Alibaba account back then, and we were waiting till we got an inquiry. When we did one good thing, that was we got ourselves a printed card. Probably during that time, I was among the few guys who had a printed card with
Visiting card.
my name, visiting card, I would say. Yes. So all what we got from that business was just a visiting card, zero profit. And then we thought maybe we should try out something different. Sri Lanka was famous for cinnamon. Maybe we should try out exporting cinnamon. And then we did the same thing. We actually went around the country searching for suppliers. Then we got several suppliers. We did the same thing like as it was in the previous case, advertise on Alibaba and other online platforms to see whether it was a successful venture. We got many inquiries, but zero business back again. But we had some additional advantage than it was in the previous case. That was while working with those suppliers, they actually gave some samples of cinnamon sticks to be
Okay.
given to those buyers. So
Okay.
what we did was like actually we had enough samples to be given to our parents to be used in day to day cooking work for the next 6 7 months time. And that was our second operation. That again was like a real disaster. During that time, can I go ahead with
Yes, yes, yes. Very
story?
interesting. Very
Okay,
interesting.
right. And then we had a friend of ours who used to work at one of the largest exporting textile exporting mills in the country, and he told us, okay, look, there are uh, uh, some new opportunities you can possibly try out. We do have B grade fabric rolls. If you are interested, you can probably buy those from us and then sell it in the local market. Those are basically downgraded material, but
Okay.
good enough to be used for local requirements. And what we did was like, if I remember correct, the investment was some 110 lakhs. That is a 11 million investment. And I just had 100,000 with me. Two of my friends, they had another 400. So altogether, it was 600,000 that we had, and the investment due was 11 million. So what we did
Okay.
was we actually spoke to our parents, got some additional uh,
Cash infusion.
cash infusion up to, if I remember correct, 3 million. So it was
Okay.
25,000 debt and sorry, 25 lakhs in debt and 500,000 from our end. So now what we have is just uh, 3 million, but we are supposed to take out 11 million worth of fabric. So what we did was we actually went back to that company. We told them, okay, we have a good cash tab. Would you be able to give us some concession? That is, instead of getting the whole lot in one go, would you be able to give us a chance for a duration of probably 1 month? We will actually do it in 3 cycles. We would get the requirement that is available with our readily available cash, it is 3 million, and we did that. We actually did it within a matter of 2 months or so, the first two shipments. But then again, for the third consignment, we actually had to wait for another 11 months. And it was a terrible scenario. I told my parents, specifically to my mother, that we could not afford to go for a warehouse. So it would be just 1 week's work. So whether she would be able to allow me have those fabric rolls at our place in our living room. And she said, okay, it's just 1 week. Okay, why not you go ahead and do that? But it is beyond that you can't keep. So that's how I, I actually got space for the operation. And then the consignment that we got in, telling her that it was just for 1 week's
1 week,
time. Yes, we had to keep it for 12,
11
almost
12
12
months.
months, 11, 12 months inside our home. All the visitors who were coming to our place were asking what it was, and my mother was furious because she couldn't do anything with that. I mean, our house was full of fabric rolls, and she had nothing to tell than like blaming us, because then during that time, and I still remember, I spent most of my time away from home, because the moment I come home, then I get blamed by my mother, and the moment my friends would come, they too get blamed by my mother. And with regard to the other parents, that is my friends' parents, we also had good loans from them, telling that it was just for 1 month's time. And
Okay.
I could not stay at my place because of my mother, and my friends could not stay at their places because of their parents. So it was a hard time for all
Interesting.
of us. And luckily, there was one gentleman from Peta Market. Out of nowhere, he came, and he actually took the entire consignment, and that was a great relief for us. If not for that gentleman, probably I would have actually given up on my entrepreneurial journey
Entrepreneurial
by now.
journey. Okay.
Yes. And
Interesting.
yeah, can
Interesting.
I
So,
continue?
no,
Yeah,
wait. I need few more questions. I
yeah,
have to ask you
sure.
a few more questions, and then I we also have few friends who have joined. So Tamit is the one who will be hosting our
Hello.
Sinhala show for that goes as Sales Guru SME chat. It'll be starting on the 5th of Saturday. It'll run only on Facebook. And Tamit is the host. Thank you, Tamit, for joining and working. It's a small group of people working together to help SME owners. I think you have one of your teachers here, Professor Nishant,
Yes,
from
he's a
University
prominent
of Cali.
professor. Yes,
Yes, so interesting entrepreneurial motivation. I think he's also one of the prominent individual, a professional who is helping uh, who is very active in the entrepreneurial world, helping
he is. I
startups.
actually know him. He doesn't. He doesn't know me, but I know him very well. I'm
Okay.
so glad that you are here,
Right.
Professor.
Thank you very much for joining. And you have a friend of yours, Buddhika Ratnayaga, one of the top
Hi, Budhika.
automobile professionals in the country. Uh, he says
Thank
that you
you.
are one of the most kind-hearted persons I have ever met. That Buddhika, I would vouch for it. So these are the beautiful souls that we know, beautiful people we know, and we help each other. We work together. Great. So my next question is are you encouraging every person to become an entrepreneur?
Avita, that's a witty question. I would say I would have a yes and no answer. Why I say yes, first of all, is basically most of the individuals, they actually do not know the right potential that they have until such time they actually get framed to a situation where they have no other option left. Sometimes when we get comfortable with things, when we are in a corporate sector
Set
job,
up.
since we get a monthly salary, we think, okay, we have to we are happy with that, we can probably uh, be expecting that for the next set of years, upcoming set of years, and we are happy there. But then again, when you actually step out from the corporate world, you get to realize that you would not be getting any paycheck any further, so it becomes a real pressure to you. And the moment you get that pressure, you start working like nothing until such time that you feel comfortable of yourself. And when you grow further, you get to realize, okay, you have a team of people who would probably depend on you. So it's like a greater responsibility that way, on top of not having monthly salary, you have to be responsible for making sure that you would arrange a monthly salary for a team of people. So that way, sometimes there are hidden talents that every individual may have, and that would come out only when they get to see such different such difficult scenarios. So I would rather say, I won't say that you should jump straight away from corporate sector to become an entrepreneur, but at least you can give it a try. Maybe you can do a part-time operation where you would have your pet project running while you are doing your full-time corporate job. And for some time I also did that. For 2 years I have been working probably 16 hours a day. I was working at Lanka Logistics, I was working at my own operation, and it was tough, but then again I did not feel I was.
Malit, Malit, are you there? Did I just lose him? Okay, I need a support from the audience. I don't know whether I lost here in the process or whether I lost Malit. Malit, are you there?
I can hear you properly, Amita.
Okay,
Can I
okay. I think
continue?
we lost each. Yeah, we
Yes, I
lost
am.
each other a little time. Anyway, so what you say is, uh, until you expose yourself to a situation, you wouldn't know whether uh, whether you have the entrepreneurial spirit inside you or not. That's what you say.
Exactly, exactly. So it's best that you give it a try. And on the other hand, when you are having an intention to become an entrepreneur, yeah, sometimes people try to become successful overnight. So that won't happen when you are an entrepreneur. I have felt that it's been almost 9 years since I have come to the decision that I would quit my corporate job and become an entrepreneur. I have always felt that if I were there in the corporate sector without becoming an entrepreneur, in terms of financials and the pressure that I handle now, it would have been way easier. But then again, it's always about the passion. I mean, if you can really remain happy with the process, not with the outcome itself, then probably you would be able to find chances where you can become happy with the little things. I mean, small wins would always take you a long way, because if we wait till the utmost win, it might, sometimes it might never happen. And who never know, you never know where things would take you to. So it's always good to enjoy the process. I actually enjoy the process when I get up every morning. There's a new challenge, there's a new problem, something has gone wrong somewhere. Maybe we have actually done some order in the wrong manner. It is a different embroidery than the intended embroidery that our guys have done. So our guys get blamed by the customers. It is just one day available for the shipment. So what are we supposed to do? Likewise, then the next day morning when I get up, maybe the inner revenue department has actually informed our guys that they have not been able to map the proper timelines, and then it's a different story. So inside our small organization, we actually play different hats. It could be HR, it could be finance, it could be marketing, it could be operations, it could be IT, it could be something else. Because just because of the fact that we can't afford to have a bigger department dedicated for that particular staff. So one good thing about being an entrepreneur is you get to learn bits and pieces of
Everything.
different activity. So
Yes.
that's really good.
Yeah. So what you say is enjoy the journey. Don't wait till you reach a particular destination. Every day it's a challenge. Go with the flow. Yeah. Okay. So my next question. So before that, we will say hi to Gayan. Gayan is one of the top finance
Hi.
professional and also an HR professional. Being working in one of the top organization as a director. So thank you, Gayan, for coming. In his own rights, I would say he's also an entrepreneur, because when you reach the uh, pinnacle of an organization, you become a director. Then you are an entrepreneur again. Of course, you are running the organization in a different way. And then we have Neeraj, who says interesting, really motivational. Thank you, Neeraj, coming and patronizing the show, giving us a little motivation. So, Malit, among hundreds of people who are planning or he was thinking, okay, I want to become an entrepreneur or not. I know you told, I mean, when you try, you will you will learn whether you have that entrepreneurial spirit inside or not. But I would like to ask, uh, are there any set of qualities or skills that would make you more suitable or more ideal to become an entrepreneur? Come on, if you take, let's say, 100 people, will you be able to look at them and analyze them and say, Amita, I think if you take these 30 people are more suitable to become entrepreneurs? Any skills or qualities, traits that you think is ideal to become an entrepreneur in someone?
Yes, sir. Let me tell some practical traits that I have seen during my journey. Number one is if you have right level of patience, that is one great thing that you should be having. Like I said, I mean, many people want to become successful overnight. It doesn't happen that way. So you have to be patient enough to see the process, the results, the failures, the challenges, everything. So that is one quality. And the other quality is however much things go wrong, if you have the confidence that you have control over your destiny, that quality yet again is a good quality that we can have. And when you are an entrepreneur, I told you that you should be having the you should be ready to unlearn and relearn almost all the time. I mean, sometimes we think, okay, we have
I
some
know
level of
everything.
knowledge in a
So,
particular.
I know
Yes.
everything is not going to work.
Exactly, exactly. And I should tell you that honestly, I get the opportunity to learn from almost everybody, irrespective of their rank at our office. Even from the intern at our office, I get to learn a lot of things. And likewise, we should be humble enough to have that knowledge. And then again, when we think of other areas for you to become an entrepreneur, people skills, I think, matter a lot, because if you are good with people, even though you might not get overnight success stories, over time you get a progressive development. And that for that you will have friends of yours who would be supporting, just like I have been invited today for this talk show from your end, just because of the fact that I knew you earlier. So those are probably small wins, I would say. And then again, you should be having the quality of, we call it sometimes social norms. I mean, people get to tell different things about you. So you should be able to defend yourself, even from our home itself. Nothing wrong with my parents, nothing wrong with my relatives. They were always worried about the fact that I ventured into the field of entrepreneurship. So what I did was actually just to make them confident regarding the fact that I was not taking entrepreneurship alone, but I was actually continuing with my other academic
Studies.
activities as well. So
Yes.
after my basic degree, I actually followed two other master's programs, one in business administration and one in IT. And then again, these days I'm actually involved with my doctorate once again from University of Carolina with regard to entrepreneurship. So there's a long way to go. So
Yeah, but then
small
that is
things.
one of the reasons why I respect you. Like, I mean, while running an organization, while you have created jobs, while running a entrepreneurial venture, you're also working on yourself. You know, you did two masters and you are working on your doctorate. So I sometimes wonder, okay, how do you find time?
It's a classic story that I should tell you, Avitay. That is probably Sri Lanka as a country has a mindset that, I mean, people would try to judge people just by the qualifications alone. But I have seen many other entrepreneurs who are far better than me, far talented than me, without having a single paper qualification, who have actually gone through the mill, who have learned things on their own. But it's always good to have academic qualifications. Then you would try to apply what you have learned in academia in the practical scenario. You will fail, you will try again, you will learn new things. So even at my office, I encourage my team members to be like entrepreneurs. We call them as entrepreneurs. So I actually maintain a way where we don't have any in time, out time, no tracking of timing, nothing as such. They would come up with their own ideas. We would fail. I have told them to do the mistakes when they are here at our organization, when they become entrepreneurs themselves, or when they go into other organizations as managers or to senior positions. Then they will not have to repeat the same mistake at that place, because they have already made that mistake at our organization. So
So,
that's
Malit,
probably
you,
how we can explain.
do you have any vacancies for me to come and try all the experiments over there?
We are a small organization where we at the moment do not have vacancies for profiles as big as you, I would say, Avita.
Okay, interesting. So we have another top personal branding guru in Sri Lanka, Sasanka. Sasanka, thank you very much
Hello.
for coming here. So he says pretty insightful, and we have Gihan Madhushanka Fernando says interesting. Now you were talking about sometimes even your parents or the society would, question you. Will have a question mark. Okay, is he mad? He's fully qualified. Why is he getting into entrepreneurship? I mean, I have a story to tell. My 12-year-old son is an entrepreneur, and then he recently reviewed a car. It's a Mercedes C200 AMG Premium Plus car. And he said, "Hey, if you want to buy this car, talk to me." Of course, I mean, anyone would know that he's not personally selling it, but then he has partner organizations that is offering cars because he has built a personal brand. And I saw a few people. I mean, there was one person, a professional, top IT professional in the country, has come and commented on his profile. He's bluffing. How can you go to a 12-year-old's profile and just say he's bluffing? And then there was another one who has said, if you buy anything from him, you would land in a court. You'll have to deal with the law. I mean, these are the kind of encouragement sometimes, the feedback you get from the society. Of course, my child asked me, "Tati, what do I do?" I said, just don't waste your energy, effort on replying, just delete the comment. So I can imagine what uh, when a child is going through something like that. When someone really wants to become an entrepreneur, you as a university student or you have just come out of the university, there's only handful of people who would actually help you to really come up. The rest are going to just criticize you, isn't it? Yeah.
Correct,
So
Kavita. Actually, yes.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. There again, I can tell you something. I felt bad when people actually were telling when they were looking down upon me back then. But over time, I realized, okay, that was how it is. So I have to get used to that. And when people ask me where I work, I tell them, okay, I work at Lesova Holdings Private Limited. When they get to hear a company that nobody has never heard of, and it's always like from their point of view, it's always good to work in even in a smaller position inside the world renowned company than running your own company known to nobody. So I feel bad when I actually get compared. I still get compared with my friends. I still get compared with my colleagues, and I no longer feel bad about it, because I'm so used to that situation, and I actually let go of it. And when you are
Yeah.
ready to let go of things, it's way easier to stream through.
Yeah, imagine, Malit, my 12-year-old son is now learning it the hard way. I said, Puta, this is how you got to face these critics and just ignore, and you just stay focused on your journey. So we have Manjula, who is a top landscaping professional in the
Hello.
country, who is working with top global companies who have invested in Sri Lanka, in places like port city. So Manjula says it was inspiring listening to the life experience of an entrepreneur. Thank you, Amita, for bringing interesting guests to the program, always learning something from them. Uh, uh, I mean, he was once a guest of this show. I mean, I need to thank every single guest who has come to the show and shared their experience. Thank you very much. Now we have Janaka. Have had the pleasure of witnessing this gentleman's journey as an entrepreneur the last 10 to 12 years. Janaka Sumitra Rachi, very inspiring journey filled with resilience and persistence. Hats off, Malit, and congratulations on all your accomplishment so far. Best of luck with everything ahead. So it's
Thanks,
amazing.
Janka. He's my good friend from school. He was our head prefect back when we were at school. Thanks,
Oh,
Janaka.
okay, interesting. So, Gayan says, Dear Malit, what about entrepreneur also to take salary until sometime without taking profits out at later when the business is settling, then to enjoy the profits? Are you recommending it or any other best practices that entrepreneur to take profits out? So he's
That is
asking
a
whether
really,
a good
yes.
question.
A good question. Yes, I have actually worked for 2 years without any salary even during the first 2 years, and then I actually drew a salary from office. Even to date, I have not tried acquiring profits because I my plan is to grow the company first. And during the 2 years we had COVID. It's been almost 11 months or so that I have never been paid a salary
Salary.
even from office. Yes, but because I'm supposed to pay the salaries of my team members without making any issue, because they are the heart of my operation. If they are happy, if they remain with the company, I know as a matter of fact that they will take the company to greater heights. So until such time, I have to be really cautious. I have to be patient enough to see how they would maneuver it uh, through the challenging times.
Super, Malit. Super fantastic. So I would like to ask you this. If you can go back in time and start all over again, would you have done certain things differently?
I would say
If you
yes. That is because I have always felt yes. In terms of the product that
go ahead.
I'm in, actually, those are tangible products. And the type of products that we do, the raw materials would come from some other country, and we would actually sell those products to mostly to Sri Lankan corporates. So we actually purchase raw material in USD, and we actually get our cash inflow in Sri Lankan
Sri
rupees,
Lankan
LKR.
rupees.
So yeah, with the current situation, with the parity rate and all, we have seen over the years, we are probably making a loss because of that very nature. Had it been an IT startup where they have an intangible product instead of a tangible product, where it can be scaled far easily compared to a tangible product. The geographical locations, even if you take it, is it is less cumbersome, I would say, to go into other areas where you can have your cash inflow in USD and make the payments in LKR, and then probably you can come to a better comfortable situation even with regard to scalability. I had the idea to go ahead with something intangible, but it might take some time. But if I had not gone into a tangible product, probably if I had the chance to change the type of product that I was in, or the industry, it would probably have been an industry where that industry would be dealing with an intangible product, be it some software or apps, or maybe some service that could be replicated, I would say.
Yeah. So who knows? You have done your one of the masters in IT trade, and then you never know. Interestingly, uh, I want to show our audience t-shirts.lk, caps.lk, shirts.lk. To see you seems to own some of the top domains in your industry. While talking about this, would you also like to show your website here, or some materials if you have, you can share with the audience?
Sure, Amita. I have to exit the full screen. Is it to share?
Yeah, yeah, and then go to a tab
Ah,
and
sorry.
say share
I got it.
share screen. Share screen.
I got it. I got it. Yeah. Nice. Right.
So in the meantime, so you took t-shirts.lk, caps.lk, and shirts.lk. I mean, I have to tell the audience, be mindful of the spellings: t-shirts.lk, caps.lk, shirts.lk. Okay, go to that tab where you have the ears.
This is T-shirts like our main website. This is our main brand, and we work with corporates. And when somebody wants to like get some inquiry, they can simply go here and actually get it.
Browse it.
And these are some of the customers that we have worked with, mostly corporates, because of the fact that we work with their uniforms and other work related office attire. So
Okay,
other than that, we do custom caps as well for different organizations, and then
okay,
shirts again likewise. So these are Facebook pages, the things that we do for different organizations. And then we have things like this, and our LinkedIn page,
page.
and
Yeah,
stuff like this, Instagram. And we are located at Casa Street, Colombo, right next to Singamega building, on Casa Street, right opposite Fab building. If any of you would be going past that area, you are more than welcome to visit our place just to say
drop
hi.
in.
So that's about it. Thanks.
Okay, great. So, so my next question would be, um, how did you manage during the COVID-19 period? Was it a smooth riding, or you had a lot of challenges? You want to share some of the experiences you had, because it could help someone else.
Exactly,
Malik,
exactly.
you can speak. Yeah.
Amita, if you can kindly give me 1 minute just to like get your screen back. Stuck with it to that chat 1 moment.
No, don't worry about the screen. We can see you. You just open
Ah,
that tab.
okay,
We can see
right.
you.
Okay,
You're
then I'll go ahead
nothing to worry.
with
Yeah, go ahead.
talking. I can't see you, but I would still talk. Okay.
Yes, we can see you.
Can you just repeat the question that you asked regarding
Yeah,
COVID?
what
Okay.
did you go through
You asked me how we
during the
actually
COVID
managed to
period?
survive during the COVID period, right?
Yes,
Lovely, right.
yes.
It was one hell of a journey. I actually learned many things than the entire set of earlier years during the COVID period, because we actually had a twin disaster, I would say. Not COVID alone, even before COVID, we experienced some unfortunate event back in 2019 where we actually experienced Easter bombings. So
Bomb attack.
since
Yes.
we were working with corporates, almost all the corporates, they actually almost all of them decided to cut down on their unnecessary expenditure, and the type of
Oh,
products that we
promotional
deal with, they
budgets.
actually come under yes, promotional budgets, and we had a terrible blow there. So starting from 2019 itself, we had a tough time, and we thought either we should survive or we should actually give up on our things. So our decision was we would some way or the other survive. So we were we were thinking of different options, because we had almost for about 2 months we had almost zero business, and it was tough for us. And then on top of that, we experienced COVID. When COVID came, we experienced what you call lockdowns throughout the country, and
Yes.
for a product like ours, it takes some time. I don't know what to call it. Probably the product life, or maybe the
Cycle.
inquiry life cycle, I would say. Yes,
Yes.
for our guys to get some business, it takes about 1 month, starting from the
First
day
inquiry
one,
to
which we get. Yes, from the first inquiry up until the time that they would place the order, it usually take about 1 month back and
One
forth
month.
communication. So what happened
Yeah.
during those months were actually our guys were on the verge of getting a order, and then all of a sudden there comes a lockdown, and then the entire work that they have done for the past whole month would go in astray. So we had similar occasions there, and on top of that, since it was COVID, since they were restricting gatherings all around the country, since the field of tourism was a non-industry in the country, everybody were talking about tourism, and they tell that tourism is badly hit. But we were hit as
Equally.
bad as as a tourism, because our industry is a small industry and nobody talks about our industry, and even when you are in trouble nobody wants to help us. So we luckily had the chance to speak to our banks and tell them the situation, and we applied for what do you call the working capital loan, and we
Moratorium.
got rejected just because of the fact that we did not have any securities to be kept against the loans that we were taking. But they were kind enough, I would say they were kind enough to arrange the moratoriums. Because of the moratoriums, we managed to stream through the difficult months with regard to the cash flow. And then again we spoke to the gentleman who, from whom we have taken building spaces. We told them, okay, look, we have actually kept some what do you call key money with you all, so why don't you take some money off that amount of key money and help us all with the difficult situation. And they just like the bank, they did that. So it was a great relief to us. And then we thought maybe we can go ahead and sell masks or sanitizers. Amita, am I audible?
Mm. Yes. Yeah. Interesting.
Okay, okay. Maybe we can go out into the market and sell masks and sanitizers as a method to make sure that we get the cash flow, or we can do our homework, focus more on our current operation, see the areas that we have failed miserably, and to see the areas that we can further grow. We can work
Mm.
on that avenue. So the
Yeah.
avenue that we took was basically the latter. When everybody else was trying to get some more money by venturing into non-core business areas, we thought we should spend more time in
In that area.
doing our homework, because we didn't have any customers calling us and asking for prices. We didn't have any customers visiting our office and asking for design.
Yeah.
So what we did was, we had something called, we came up with a small Excel sheet, and the name of that Excel sheet was small improvements. I encourage all my team members to put something that comes to their mind, irrespective
Okay.
of the fact whether it would be a good idea or a bad idea. It was all of a brainstorming session, and
Yeah.
even the youngest member in the team, they managed to put what their ideas were. So we actually then assess the things that we could do during those several months. We actually work, I would say, twice as how we worked during the past years to do our homework. And we looked into the operation, we looked about the product quality, the areas, the new markets that we can venture into, and probably new suppliers that we can partner with, probably a new clientele that we can work with, and who were the competitors, who were they are the what their new action were, and what should be our counter attack mechanism. Likewise, we actually did some real good work. And during that time we had something called a team session. In that team session, what we did was, sometimes you should know that there are small companies that cannot afford big CEO coach like you, I would say. Then I would say, big corporate trainers like you. So then what those companies is do is they actually go for alternative mechanism as to how they can gain such knowledge. So myself and my team members thought of different ways, and without bothering friends like you, then our guys thought, okay, just this thing called YouTube. Probably we can have YouTube videos on a daily basis. We can learn something new about finance, HR, operations, and whatnot. So what we did was, we in fact, you wouldn't believe, we in fact had almost 1.5 hour session during those days on a daily basis, learning and upskilling our own team members, including myself, because most
Brilliant.
of the things that we do at our organization, we do those activities for the very first time in our life. Just because of the fact that
Yeah.
we are not a big company, and we can't because of the fact that we can't afford to go into outsourcing of different activities, we encourage our guys to learn bits and pieces, where that way we would be able to manage
Okay.
most of such things ourselves. So
So Malit,
the
I
learning
think
curve
today,
our
Malit,
guys took during those days was relatively low compared to how it was back in the past, because they learned a lot
yes.
when they knew that they are challenged. They did some amazing work.
Yeah,
So
so
that's how it.
today information and knowledge is out there completely free of charge compared to maybe, I mean, my days, I would say, where we had to go and really search for it, or it's costly. But today, uh, virtually, you don't have to pay for any of those. It's freely available, provided that someone decides to work on it. So talking about, since you were talking about my coaching and consultancy practice, currently I am doing, I have taken up two large assignments, with one with a public one public quoted company, in transforming their organization into a high performance organization. Then another one is an organization which has about, more than 300 branches. And then I'm exactly doing what you have been doing with your team. We have formed cross functional teams, and then we are looking at every single area that we could improve in a particular area of time. And then we have even reduced the number of meetings eventually, because all the differences have been ironed out. You just have to do work on your day-to-day operations. So very interesting. So my
One more thing, you actually mentioned
yes.
about the programs that you actually charge from the corporate sector, but you did not take time to mention about the type of work that you may do free of charge to the entire community, just like this program and many other
Yeah.
activities that I know
Yes,
personally.
yes, yeah. So even yesterday, I was evaluating a presentation, a market pitch of an organization. It is organized by ICTA. So I spent about 45 minutes of my time, and then I evaluated their presentation, gave my feedback. I mean, I do 101. I mean, if you call me and say, "Hey, Amita, I need your support. Can you come and look at this?" I mean, I'm always, especially when I know the organization is upcoming startup, it's a small organization, I spare my time, because back in the day, there were enough and more people who were willing to give me a hand. So I just have to pay it forward to someone else. So Malit, we have a comment from my 2 weeks back guest, Imesha Gajavera, one beautiful soul. Hi to
Hi,
both.
Mesha. I'm really sorry. Since I can't see the screen,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
won't be able to see the comments.
yeah. So we
Something
have
went
just
wrong with
come.
my PC.
Yeah, so we have just completed 1 hour and 4 minutes, but I still have one question to ask you. This is the last question. Now, when somebody wants to get into entrepreneurship, you want to become an entrepreneur, there are so many avenues available today. Software, hardware, maybe, t-shirts, caps, vegetables, agri-tech, you name it. So there's so much of things available for somebody to do. I know you will not be able to exactly say, hey, choose this, but then some guideline as to, how do you get into now, even when I ask you about if you would want to go back and change something, you said, you would rather, looking at current situation, if you have been marketing something where you could be producing it in local currency and then, selling it in foreign currency. Likewise, how can someone identify an area to get into as an entrepreneur? Any tips?
Yes, Samita. For that even I can actually offer two avenues. One avenue is without thinking of anything, you may go ahead with the first opportunity that you might get. And
Okay.
on the other hand, I would say after running my operation for almost 8 years or so, I have felt that there could have been areas that I would have acted differently. Say, for example, if we can get into industry where it is easily scalable and where the replication is easier and
Hmm.
where the market is bigger, where even though there are many players in the market, still there would be enough business for everybody. And then
Hmm.
again, a type of business where once you acquire a client, that client would become a recurrent client, I would say, the retainers, where you would get a monthly business from that particular client.
Hmm.
So those are some industries that probably one can
Look
look
at.
into. In our case, I would say if let's say if company XYZ would do a t-shirt, let's say 500 t-shirts from us, maybe they would do the next t-shirt in 2 years time, and by the time that they would
Yes.
go for a new t-shirt, probably the person who were dealing with us might have already left the company. So likewise,
True.
and then again, it's always good to go ahead with an industry where the ticket size is fairly
Bigger.
large. In our case, yes, because we actually deal with a custom product, not a retail product, not an off the shelf product. So when you work with a custom product, it takes a whole lot of your time and effort to develop that product. That is the very reason why now we have come up with a minimum order quantity and minimum order size, even because that way always we can go for larger volumes. But having said that, you might not see a company making 50,000 t-shirts for their next campaign. Rather, it would be like 1,000, 2,000 t-shirts. But there are certain industries where the ticket value is large and you get continuous inflows. And when you have a larger ticket size, even though it would be even if it would become a custom job or a off the shelf job, even with a small margin, you would be able to sustain because of the fact that the volume is big. So those are some areas that one can look into. And then again, like I said earlier, if you can get into an area where you would be able to go into similar products quite easily, the switching where switching cost would be relatively low. It is always good to go into such areas, because with the new challenges, with the amount of competition that we get to see when we get into a red ocean instead of going into some blue ocean, you have to fight with the customers. If you can make yourself irrelevant to the competitors, I would say, make yourself irrelevant to the competitors, then probably you there's at least some 5 year 10-year horizon where you can play easily in that particular industry, unless for the fact that an industry is something where you can accommodate as many competitors as possible, because the industry is so large.
Brilliant. Uh, Short. Uh, I mean, you took few seconds, but then you told a big story about based on your experience. Otherwise, someone will have to do it, find out about it the hard way, and then you just shared your experience. If you want to really do it in a more meaningful way about scalability, high ticket value, recurring orders. Yeah, brilliant. I mean, we should have had this discussion for 2 hours, Malit, but we have already had about 1 hour and 10 minutes. So we have Milinda here giving a comment. Milinda, I believe at
Hello.
this moment is in Bangladesh. Mr. Amit, a person who changed my ordinary vision of life. Mr. Malit, thank you for sharing your true experience. These are
Thank you very
gold,
much.
Malit, because maybe I know you have not written your book as yet, about your life's journey, but then I have taken 1 hour of your time and digitally uh, encode it here. So one day when
And
somebody is looking for entrepreneurship, he or she is going to
I am
find
in debt to you. I'm so grateful.
some tips from you. So thank you very much for joining us. I mean, maybe after another 1 or 2 years time, we could go for another session like this. Maybe let us get few other few of your friends who have done the same thing, similar thing, and then have a maybe a bit of a bigger session with few more brains coming here one day. So until such time, we just have to say goodbye to you for the moment. And I would like to thank everyone who commented, who shared, who reacted to everything here by way of coming to the show on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you so very much. So, Malit,
And
if
Amit,
you want
I'm taking 1 minute from you
please, please, please.
just to thank you for inviting me for this session, and then again to the audience who actually came here to share their views with us. I am truly grateful to you all. I'm sorry I can't actually view the screen. I am Amita, your sound is only audible, so I'm
Yes.
so much thankful to all of you. Thank you very much.
Okay. So, until we meet next week, another great session like this with another great personality, everybody stay safe and good night.
Thank you. Good night.